Hello? Okay, good. Okay, so this is what the entrepreneurship does in the life of somebody who is into it. So there's what we call the ICSS in entrepreneurship. Number one, ideation. What is mostly people that generate idea are people who are in entrepreneurship. You find out that others that are not entrepreneurship, they hardly generate any idea. They just wait for instruction, do this way, do that way, go that way. But entrepreneurs are the ones that generate ideas. So you are expected as an entrepreneur to be able to generate ideas. That is the I. The C there is for you to create. Those who create, if you look at Steve Jobs then, of blessed memory, is not an engineer, he's a designer, he's a creator of the product. To design and say, this is how the product should be. So when you are into entrepreneurship, apart from ideation, generating ideas, you also create. Then from there, now, you now look at that idea, you now start an enterprise. From enterprise, the entrepreneurs are the ones that run enterprise, not just employees. It's those who have an entrepreneurial acumen. They'll be able to run those enterprises. So you now start. After ideation, you generate idea and brainstorm on it. You now create. After you've created, you can now begin to start the idea. Then you go to the next step, you scale it up. Then you begin to expand. You begin to bring other people on board. You begin to bring your family members or whoever you so wish, and then you begin to recruit and get. So this is what it does. So if you look at in the world of business, even today, and people who are entrepreneurially minded, they can run government efficiently and better. People who are not entrepreneurially minded, when they enter government, you see that they have these destructive tendencies. All these of my own, they cannot develop because they have not passed through the rudiment of entrepreneurship to know what it means to, to learn to earn. They have not learned to earn. So what they do is that they just get what they call the certificate without the certificate. So what entrepreneurship does, why it matters, why it's important, why you need to acquire it, to acquire the skill, to get a certification. In fact, anybody who wants to do employment, of course, if you see somebody that is more entrepreneurially minded, you see you with certificate of entrepreneurship where you have passed through the training, you have passed through the rudiment, you are getting, you stand a better chance of getting employed or getting hired even more than somebody who doesn't have entrepreneurial acumen. So what is required is for you to pass through the skills to get the certificate. So what you have come to do today is for you to get the rudiment. There are some other programs outlined for you to develop that entrepreneurship skills, to be able to see. And most of the time, entrepreneurship is not just soft skill. It's, not just the hard skill. It is the soft component that matters in entrepreneurship. Negotiation matters in entrepreneurship because you're going to be negotiating deals. You're going to negotiating, project. You're going to be negotiating different opportunity. Then number two, what entrepreneurship, the ability to present your idea. There are some people that have idea, they've come to me after we start sharing. Because they don't have the entrepreneurial skill, you see that they're beating about the bush. The idea will die. Of course, the canned food we're eating today is somebody that was generated by a military man. He brought the idea, but he doesn't know what to do. Then a biologist took it over and started developing it into what today you see we have canned product. So this is what entrepreneurship do. Apart from that, the entrepreneur have this execution spirit to be able to earn, to be able to make sure that there is a closure, there's a business closure that will bring to an end a particular business. That's what entrepreneurship does. So a lot is being done by those who are in the entrepreneurship business, those who have learned the art and science of running a business or advising on how to run a business. The entrepreneur is a jack of all trades, as I said, and masters of entrepreneurship. And so it is essential that whatever you are doing it entrepreneurially, with the sense of purpose, with the sense of execution. So it matters in the business. Check today. If you go to the civil service, in particular, you see how people run, they don't have a don't care attitude. The language that comes out from their mouth, you know that they are not entrepreneurial minded. You see negative thought, negative, well, I don't care, whatever happened, anything, that's how they do it, nothing concerns me, however they do. The entrepreneurs don't have that kind of aptitude. They don't have those kind of mental attitude. They don't have those kind of disposition. They don't have those kind of character that bring destruction to an entity. So entrepreneurship matters in whatever we do and however we do it. So it is part of what we are talking about in the 6W1H principle. What is it? Why? What is it? The entrepreneurship is the art and science of running an enterprise successfully. Why does it matter? Or why is it important? Why are we talking about? We're talking about it because it is in the factors of production. It is the key issue. Then where do you start from? Start from where you are. Start where you are. Start with what you have. You don't have to gather. Of course, we've said in entrepreneurship that, look, if you cannot make money without money, you cannot make money with money either. So very important entrepreneurship for you to understand the essence of entrepreneurship. Now, we talk about the where, then we talk about which. Entrepreneurship has various components. The entrepreneur is, the skill is the same. If you take an entrepreneur from one sector to the other, he can perform. For instance, if you look at people appointed minister, you can be put in aviation. That may not be, you do not study aviation. As long as you have that entrepreneurial acumen, you can be put in place in solid mineral ministry. It doesn't have to say, oh, does it study solid mineral in the university? No, it doesn't work like that. Or did it study solid mineral in the polytechnic? The entrepreneur is not like that. It can fit in anywhere. It can fit in even in theology cycle. Wherever you put in, you can do it. Now the next thing is you talk about the where. I've mentioned the where can be anywhere you can be an entrepreneur. If you carry, some of us and empty our pocket and drop us where there are people anywhere in the world, if you drop us, we are going to deliver. Because it is not all about what you are carrying around you, it's what is inside of you. Entrepreneur is inside. Like 𝐏𝐿𝐴 would say, it is in you. So you are carrying that component. And that is why you need to study, you sharpen your entrepreneurial skill. You make it better through this kind of education, through this kind of training, through this kind of collaboration, through this kind of networking, through this kind of partnership, and so on and so forth. You sharpen your skill. So the question now is, how do you go about entrepreneurship? Now, the how there that we're talking about is the methodological approach. The first thing I've mentioned earlier, education. You have gone to school, you acquire education, be able to speak English, be able to communicate, be able to share, be able to talk about yourself, be able to share your idea. That's the education. Then we talk about employability. What are the certificates around you? Credentials of readiness. That means, look, this person, if we hire him, what can he do? Because in entrepreneurship, you are trying to employ yourself into your own business. So what you do is that, what are the credentials you are carrying? What are the capacity? What are the skills, the knowledge, the ability? Can you lead people? Can you handle them? Can you guide them? Can you direct them to achieve your idea? Then employment. Don't forget, they're going to be employing people. So before you now come to the entrepreneurship. So when you now start training yourself, you start developing those aptitudes, those acumen, you see that you're a better person than what you used to be before. The entrepreneur are the one that rule the world, that control the world and all that. So these skills are very, very important in whatever you do in entrepreneurship. And I want to believe that as we engage, as we go into the culture, we're going to be talking about culture here. What it is that entrepreneurship is a culture. There are some families that develop that culture of entrepreneurship so that wherever they find themselves, they can flow. Now, how do you earn? There must reach, apart from a few tech industries like Microsoft and the rest of them that have billionaires as in their employment, it's virtually difficult, if you're not in entrepreneurship, to generate income that will bring financial independence in your life and in your family. And if you look at it, 90% of the people, they have passive income. That means passive income means even when you are not working, the money is flowing. If you are sleeping, the money is flowing. That's the passive income. Only 10% and what you call the active income. Like if you don't get involved, you don't earn. So you have to build that, very important to see yourself going and all that. So this is very, very clear. So why we're in entrepreneurship is because we want to build a passive income for the future where we can retire and be resting and be involved in so many things. And so this is the areas I need to cover. And I think maybe my time is off. I don't want the president to ask me to stop. But these are just the nitty-gritty, the area that entrepreneurship will help you to succeed with. My best wishes. So waiting to take some of your questions, and then we'll respond to any area, every area, and whatever area you want in entrepreneurship. My best wishes. Thank you, President.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. I was so much enjoying the talk from you that I was tempted to allow you to just go on. But I also remember that we have other professors on ground that want to say one or two things. So I want to quickly acknowledge the presence of our course participants from other African countries. In fact, I saw someone from South Sudan, Gambia, and Ghana, and from other countries. So we are most welcome. This is an African project. It's not a Nigerian project. And feel at home and know that, yes, you are in the right place. Okay, so first of all, I must appreciate your time talking to us about entrepreneurship. And like I keep saying, it is the shortest cut out of Nigeria's problem right now, entrepreneurship. When we all have the mind of an entrepreneur, it will be very easy for us to break boundaries, make progress, and solve problems. In fact, we will hardly think of spiritual problems. We will think more of problems we can solve ourselves. So I would say that we are so excited about your presentation. I want to just take 5 questions from 5 persons. Make your question very, 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 very brief, straightforward. And like I said, this is not where you are going to learn how to become an entrepreneur. We are going to do that very soon. This is just to make you understand why you need to be an entrepreneur. Okay. So 5 persons only. If we might not even take up to 5, but let's start with the deputy commandant. Okay, that's the name I'm seeing here. Over to you. Unmute yourself, please. Just introduce yourself and ask your question. 5 minutes.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening, sir.
Dr. Abba is my name. Please, credence to Professor said. I'm glad to hear from him. He's a mentor indeed. My question goes this way, sir. Going by the environment we find ourselves, where we have a lot of policy somersault, how can an entrepreneur prevail?
Okay, over to you to Professor Seth. I hope I've not muted him. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I was muted, President. I was muted over that. So I was just struggling, putting my hands on my ear for you to see that I'm muted. So one thing is that there are policy in Nigeria that affect entrepreneurs. We have 2 types of policy, monetary policy and fiscal policy. Monetary policy is the one that affects, the exchange rate, the interest rate. Because today, the inflation rate is about 35%. And so that means if you are going to borrow money at about 40%, how do you survive as a businessman? It's a challenge. I agree with you. The exchange rate is going to about 1,600 naira to $1. So most of our input in production are imported. So if they're imported and you bring it in, it's a challenge. Then we have the fiscal policy. The fiscal policy has to do with taxation and government expenditure. So the taxes are going to, there is now new tax reform that perhaps may favor some businesses. There are multiple taxation. These are challenges. But it's challenges that distinguish entrepreneurs from any other type of person. Because if you cannot overcome your challenges, if you don't have, these are part of the skill that we talk about, you should have an entrepreneur. Resilience, ability to overcome challenges. That's what makes you an entrepreneur. And if you look at it, why are the Lebanese, the Indians, and all the other persons coming to Nigeria to hit the jackpot? Look at MTN from South Africa. Look at the jackpot. Then what are we talking about? When they came, we complain. Every now we complain about light, about electricity, about this. When they came, they brought their own generators. They brought everything, importing it from South Africa. And so with these challenges that we have, what makes you an entrepreneur is the ability to overcome the resilience, what you call, the vigor, the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity. And then you have also the ambiguity of the system. That's what we call the vulgar economy. That's how we operate. And the entrepreneur is expected to overcome all this, and that's what makes you an entrepreneur. So don't complain about the issue in Nigeria. The question you ask is that, how do I overcome these challenges? That's the way the entrepreneurs are thinking. Thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Sazi, sir. Are you there? Dr. Sazi, are you
okay,
there?
Yes. Thank you so much, Professor. You've said it all. Whenever there's a challenge, look at the advantages in those challenges. Every challenge brings us opportunity. That's where you should be looking at things. And that is exactly what Professor is trying to let you understand. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next person. More value also. Well, I don't know how to make you, maybe you should, I can't unmute you. 𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐢. Are you there, 𝐭𝐸𝐬𝐢? Unmute yourself, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. I'm connecting from Italy.
Thank you.
I thank you for the wonderful session.
Thank you.
Actually, this is just a testimony of the lecture, because I could remember sometime before Christmas, we had a session with you, Prof. And what I'm just only kind of saying is that I have already experimented starting a project without money and finishing it with money. So, for example, I was in Nigeria 2 months ago, and I just returned a few days ago. I made a book project and I published 6 books without having any money from me. So what I had to do in order to do the book project was that I seek for the assistance of somebody, and I was able to get loan. Immediately after the book presentation, I was able to recover the money I spent for the production and every other expenses. So I still have some balance remaining with me. So it is just a kind of testimony, starting a project without money and ending it up having some money with you. Thank you for the idea, and I pray that everybody will key into it.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, sister. That is great. You are in the Holy Land in Italy, there, maybe in Rome. I wish you the best. I can see that you are a sister, and we believe you do great to impact others to share. Well, thank you very much for writing. There was a young man that wrote a book on how to become rich, and he was looking for money to publish the book on how to become rich. So he went to his friend and was telling his friend that, please borrow me money how to publish the book. Said, no, read the book and become rich, and then get the money to publish the book. So, but you are able to find your way. And that is the creativity we're talking about. So, sister, we say, well done. Looking forward to seeing you back to Nigeria to come and impact the knowledge that you learned in Rome. And then we begin to work together with Laplace and do great things together. Thank you very much. Well done. Okay.
Thank you, Prof. And thank you, sister, for that progress, and congratulations. Okay. Abdulkadir Suleiman.
Hello, thank you very much for having me here this evening.
Thank you.
I am sorry that there's no light. I'm not going to be able to on the video.
Okay.
All right, I just want to ask Professor 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐠𝐞 a very quick one on entrepreneurship. I would like to know, please, if there is any role that luck has to play in being entrepreneurially minded. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. In entrepreneurship, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's what we call luck in entrepreneurship. So the kind of luck that to wait for manna from heaven to fall, in entrepreneurship, we don't do that. In entrepreneurship, you need to work, you need to develop your skill, you need to prepare and be ready for opportunity to come knocking at your door. And opportunities normally in the esoteric realm, where we said use opportunity to move around all over, looking for anybody who is prepared to receive it. So yes, people they said, I'm waiting for luck, waiting for luck. No. Prepare for opportunity. And then when the two jam, then you are lucky. This is how we do. Some people say it's by prayer. Okay, fine. We can have God factor in it. When God had mercy on you, God look at you. But God prefer those who are ready for him, those who are prepared, those who have equipped themselves, those who are ready. I can tell you that when opportunity sees preparation, then luck has no choice than to appear. And of course, if you look at even in football, when they are playing football, you say, oh, this team is lucky. They are lucky, they prepare for it. How comes that they don't bring amateur to come and play? So yes, we don't discountenance luck, but in entrepreneurship, we don't work with luck as such. We look of adequate preparation. There's what we call the 5P. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Those are the 5P. So when you have those 5Ps, you prepare. When opportunity come knocking, you are ready. The person who is not prepared, when the opportunity come, he might not even see it. He will forget about it. You heard about the story of a lady who was in the military. She retired, no job, and she was looking for opportunity. Then she was watching television. She just saw that Donald Trump is going to be at a program. I just saw that even today. So when she saw that he was going to be in a program, she prepared herself and dressed up and went to that program and hid themselves. When it comes to question and answer, she stood up as if she wanted to ask questions. She now told Donald Trump, I need a job, Mr. President. He looked at her. He now asked her to come to the podium. When she came to the podium, he now asked her some questions. She was employed immediately. So you can't say that's luck. She prepared, and then when the opportunity came, she grabbed it, and there she is. So thank you very much, sir. There is luck, yes, but preparation must meet opportunity to create that luck. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll take on one more person, and
okay.
Yes. Let me call a woman for now, so that there will gender balance.
The gender balance.
Yes. I hope Binada.
Good.
Okay, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Is she muted?
She's not muted. Hope, we can't hear you. If you can hear Hope, just type yes. Hope, Hope, unmute yourself, Hope. We can't hear you. Maybe you should just type your question. Yeah, just type your question. We can't hear you, Hope. Just type your question. Okay. Let me just take the last one, then we'll move on to the next speaker. Unlicensed room. That is your name. I'm seeing it. Over to you. Your question, please. Unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Yusuf Siaka, living in Abuja here.
Okay.
Please, sir, I need a business idea and like a little, how can somebody want to start a business in like place Abuja here? How can I start a business and a business idea also? Because I'm a government worker, so I need at least additional income.
Okay, I think I would prefer to take that question. I want to believe that this is not the first time you'll be taking a course with Laplace Betaverse.
This.
What?
Actually, this is the first time.
Okay, no problem. You are welcome. You are welcome. We have an alumni group. Try and join the group. We invite professors to do a lot of justice to issues like this there, because you might not have all the time to go through this for you. Yeah. So, but just join the alumni group. You have a lot of benefits. You have a lot of things to learn. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Professor.
Hello. Sorry, sir. Thank you very much for saying.
Okay,
Yusuf, you are in Abuja there. You try to find time maybe to reach out to us. We are also with you in Abuja there. The Laplace is based in Abuja. You get this thing. Of course, you start with idea. Make sure that you join us. There is a lot we are going to do. Get those certificates. It's practically impossible. Quote me. I'm ready to pay. Take that to the bank to come and join us in our alumni program in NADC. If you don't have a business, we're going to even dash you one. Because there are so many things to do. So many. Please join us and get this. How can somebody say, when ideas are flowing, millions of ideas are flowing every day. Ideas are even looking for people to implement them. So we look forward to seeing you. Please reach out to our website, reach out to La Plage, program, and then you come. And in fact, I look for, because the way I'm even seeing you, you're already a business person. What you're waiting for is for us to kindle the fire. And then before you know what is happening, you have hit
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, President, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we appreciate your time, sir, Professor Seth 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐠𝐞.
Yeah.
We'll now move on to the next guest speaker.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, sir. Yeah. God bless you. Yes, we'll move on to the next speaker, Professor Mbanefo. She have like 15, 20 minutes and we'll ask our questions. Then we'll move on to the next speaker and call it a day. Thank you. Over to you, Professor Mbanefo. Over to you, ma'am. Okay, is Professor Mbanefo around? I know she has unmuted herself. Are you there? I can't hear her. If you can hear her, please type yes. Let me know if it's my network.
Okay, now.
Okay, yeah.
You didn't allow me to, yes, now you've allowed me to unmute myself.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Mine is not going to be all that. Well, good evening once again.
Good evening.
Mine is not going to be academic. I'll adopt a more clinical approach. Clinical in the sense that I'll just break it down to ABC level. The topic I'm to engage with is cross-cultural communication. Cross-cultural communication in a workplace, in an international workplace. Cross-cultural communication in a workplace, particularly in an international workplace. The key word there, the nucleus there is communication. So we start with communication. Communication, basically for the little child, I'll tell the little child that the meaning of communication is being able to produce a message that people can understand, and also being able to understand a message that somebody else has put forward. It involves an exchange of messages, exchange of information. And that exchange goes via language. To be able to communicate, to say that someone has communicated effectively, we are simply saying that that person has been able to make himself understood, and that also that person has been able to understand what he or she has heard. Being able to make yourself understood, and then being able also to understand somebody else. There is a medium, and the medium there is language. Now, when you talk about communication, there are many levels of competencies as far as communication is concerned. We have the basic communicative competence. We have the linguistic competence, that's the use of language. We have the pragmatic competence, that's being able to use language in context. Well, beyond the linguistic competence, there is also the ability to navigate in a cultural milieu that you are not used to. Now, I believe I am addressing, or we are addressing people who have just gone through, they just concluded a series of courses with Laplace Metaverse. Laplace Metaverse is actually getting people upscaled and upskilled, so that in the 21st century, in this knowledge economy, the people that Laplace Metaverse is actually training, those people are being engaged in professional development. Professional development in a sense that at the end of it all, they should be able to go to work anywhere. Go to work anywhere. And in this age of globalization, I'm sure that most of you are looking out to Japa, that's going away from Nigeria. But mark you, if you go outside the shores of Nigeria, you're not going to be interacting with only Nigerians. You're going to be interacting with people from different backgrounds. Where do you begin? You begin by being able to understand yourself, being able to understand the cultural milieu you're coming out from, being able to assess people's perception about your cultural background, people's perception about your cultural background. What am I talking about? As an Igbo person in Nigeria, I know that we have our general perception of an Igbo person speaking. We also have a general perception about the Hausa man speaking. We have our own perception of how the Calabar man talks, or the Yoruba, etc., etc. Now, even within the cultural milieu of Igbo-speaking areas, there are still differences. There are cultural differences. When I'm talking about cultural differences, I'm talking about the norms, the values, things that matter to us, things that matter to people in a given area. What matters to the Yoruba man, as far as greeting is concerned, may not necessarily be what matters to an Igbo person. The Yoruba elder will not feel comfortable when a junior greets him standing. Okay? But the Igbo child can greet the Yoruba man without necessarily genuflecting, because genuflecting or prostrating is not aligned. I mean, it's not part of what goes with greeting. I'm just giving that as a little example. Now, when we talk about communication, we have the verbal, we have the non-verbal. The nod of my head can mean something to somebody who shares the same values with me as far as body language is concerned. that nod may not be the same to somebody else. My eye contact, if somebody is talking to me, if I now move to a place where we have Japanese, Chinese, I mean, people from the Asian country, we have the people from Western civilization, their approach to body language is not necessarily the same. There's what we call proxemics in communication. What am I talking about? I mean distance. The African, if you get Africans together, they can come together. I mean, they can hug. They can come close to themselves while they are talking. But with the white man, you maintain the distance. You maintain the distance. The way you raise your hand, the way whichever finger you use, fingers tell a lot. In Chinese, for Chinese and Japanese, they don't mean the same thing for the Frenchman, for instance. If you hold your fist this way for a Frenchman, you are being rude. And you are being, I mean, it's scandalous. Or somebody is talking to you and you're looking the person straight in the face. Yes, in some other culture, it might mean that you are confident. But for some other person, it may be that you are very, very insultive. There are cultures that would rather you look away while somebody is talking to you. Okay, now let me get back to where we are. We are in Laplace Metaverse, trying to help you in your professional development. But let me say that wherever you are going to work, communication is key. You cannot do without communication. The success for you is correlated, very much positively correlated to your cultural, to your communicative ability. If you do well in understanding that the other person before you has values, you are better placed, you are better advised to recognize the values the person is bringing to the table. Because if you don't do that, you are likely to provoke disharmony in a working environment. I give you an example. You know that these days, many international companies are adopting what they call going to other places. I mean, delocalization, that's going to a different place to develop their enterprises. Okay. Now, if the leader of such a multinational company goes to a remote place where the local language, he's not aware of the local language, neither is he aware of the norms and values, he's likely to go to create some cultural shock. And that is going to mar the progress of his company. If he doesn't do well, he's likely to be repatriated because he's going to paint a picture of somebody at the head of a multinational company who is not in very good rapport with the locals. Now, if you do well to know that when you are in an international workplace, that there you are going to have a mixture. You're going to have a potpourri, a mixture of different people from different backgrounds. And you have to comport yourself in such a way that there is harmony in the workplace. When you make sure that the way you talk, the way you present your ideas, the way you relate, because there's that relational ability. How do you relate with the working environment, with your colleagues in the workplace? How do you relate? How do you relate with your boss? How do you relate with your equals? If you're not relating well with them, well, of course, it will cost you that job that you are so much anticipating to get. So here in La Plage, we are preparing you to make sure that, yes, the end point for you, either you're doing the caregiver course or you're doing the HR management course, or you're doing entrepreneurial, whatever. I'm happy that Professor 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐠𝐞 mentioned that even the entrepreneur does some negotiating. He negotiates. He presents. So, presentation, how does he present? Can he present if he is deaf and dumb? The answer is no. Can he present? Can he give a salient presentation if he wobbles? The answer obviously is no. Can he do a successful presentation or negotiation if he lacks the body language to send the message? If he lacks that empathetic mode? If he fails to recognize that he is not just he alone, that he is surrounded by others, and that others are bringing to the table what has made them up. What I mean by what has made them up, that's the language, the values, their norms, which they bring there. When they come, they are going to navigate. Being able to navigate will require that, yes, you understand what there is in the Igbo man that shocks the Yoruba man. I'm just bringing this as just a little example back home here. So maintaining harmony in a Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo environment means that there is that tolerance in our speech. There is the tolerance for the other, recognizing the other. When I say the other, the French will say l'autrui. The other person is more important than you. And so in an international workplace, you as a Nigerian, or you as a Ghanaian, a Zambian, Cameroonian, going to work in, say, UNESCO, or that you find yourself in Switzerland, you find yourself in China, or wherever that is outside the shores of Africa. Know for sure that you are going to meet individuals from different backgrounds, and that you need to adapt. You need to be culturally aware. You should develop cultural awareness. You should develop adaptability. You should be able to adapt to the new situation. You should be able to avoid cultural biases. If you do that, you are going to make sure that the temperature or the psychology of your working environment is rather going to be peaceful. If you do the opposite, it's going to result in chaos. It's going to result in misunderstanding. So developing cultural, cross-cultural communication competence means that you equip yourself with the nitty-gritty of ability to communicate, not just ability to communicate, but ability, while communicating, to navigate the cultural differences of your new international workplace. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? If you can hear me, just say hi. Just say yes, you can hear me. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Professor Mbanefo. That was a very good one, and we appreciate your time for it. Please, I'm trying to do some quick technical, solve some technical problems here, but that notwithstanding, we have to continue what we are doing. Yes. We'll just take 3 questions from 3 persons. I want to believe that the hands that are being raised here are actually meant to ask questions, but if not, let's find out if somebody else that needs to ask questions. Please just raise up your hand here if you want to ask your question, please. Raise up your hands. Just 3 persons. Okay, Muhammad Imam Yusuf. Make it very brief, please. Unmute yourself, Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good evening, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful session, and we have been following from virtually the beginning of the program. We have had the 2 professors actually talked, and it has been very educative and an interactive section. But I want to ask the last speaker, the last presenter, 1 or 2 questions regarding this intercultural, intra-tribal way of, coercing what she called trying to is it a kind of peace building between different people of different cultural background coming together, to actually share what they have and live together as one? So is Professor trying to see a possible ways in which we can actually use coexistence, being together in a situation to actually solve a lot of problems with despite...
Mohammed, please just go straight to the question. What is the question so that we can save time? And
yes. The question to hit it straightly is, I'm looking at this transdisciplinary, it's a kind of new emerging field of bringing different community, different cultures together. I don't know if Professor can shed more lights on these aspects of bringing different communities together.
Okay, before I hand over the mic, before I hand over the mic to her, I want to quickly say that we have various communities. We have the workplace, we have professional communities, we have cultural communities, we have various kind of communities. Right now, we have an alumni community in La Place Metaverse, where your communication will be acceptable or accepted depending on who is listening to it and depending on the background of the person. So I think if that is what you are saying, what basically she is trying to let you know is that you always find yourself in various communities. It will even be political. So the way you discuss in politics is different from the way you discuss in business. So, and let me hand over the mic to her. Over to you, Madam Professor Banifo. Is she there? Over to you, madam.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually, what I'm trying to say is that basically, Laplace Metaverse is preparing you who have come for these different courses. The courses are all geared towards your professional development. And I'm saying that the bigger picture of this professional development, professional development is landing you in a place, in a workplace that is novel. A workplace that is novel. Why is that workplace novel? The workplace is novel because it's not as if where you are coming from, it's not as if you don't know how to communicate. But with the professional development that Laplace courses are getting you into, you are going to be a caregiver in an international workplace. You're going through entrepreneurial development with the aim of landing a big job outside Nigeria, outside the place where you have been communicating perfectly well. But at the end of the day, with the certificates you're now getting that I said are keyed towards your professional development, these certificates, if you do them, are helping you to shape up, because you understand already that in this knowledge economy, you either shape up or you ship out. Shape up or you ship out. Shape up by acquiring the soft skills that you need. And I'm saying that communication is key. In fact, you can get every other thing. You can get all the, you can assemble all your arsenal, but it is communication that will make your arsenal victorious. I'm saying that when you get the professional development via the different certificates you're now getting into your kitty, bear in mind that you are going to find yourself in an international workplace where you will find different people with their different cultural values. And that we are telling you that when you get there, you need to be competent at the cross-cultural